stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for the invocation by Steve Carlock from Heart Point Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's bow in prayer. Dear Lord, we praise and thank you that we can come here for this meeting. We thank you for the beautiful day that it is. We thank you that we live in America where we have the privilege of democracy, of worshiping you, of starting this meeting in prayer. Thank you for the community of Westfield and the way that you've blessed it. We pray that you would be with each of the individuals here in the decisions that are made. Give them wisdom, give them guidance. Help them to make the decisions that glorify you. We do pray that you would be with all the construction workers and the street repairs. Please watch over them and take care of them as they do those street repairs. I want to personally thank you for giving me wisdom and guidance to somehow navigate all the closed roads to get here on time. I praise you for that. We do pray that you would be with the businesses inconvenienced by the road closings. Please help them to continue to prosper as people find it more difficult to get there. We pray for the ongoing vibrancy of Westfield. We pray, dear God, that you would help each of us in our daily lives, and in particular this city council tonight, to trust in you with all their heart, to not depend upon their own understanding, but to seek your guidance, to seek your will in all that they do, in the various paths that they take. We pray these things in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
That was a very appropriate prayer. Thank you so much. President Tam, would you please take control of the meeting?
And thank you, Mayor, and also thank you to Pastor Carlock. It's great to see him again, and as you can tell, he is very familiar with the city of Westfield, which is very correct, and encourage people to support the local businesses and as well during this time. Could we note the presence of a quorum?
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Chad Huff, Victor McCarty,
Here.
Patrick Tam,
Here.
Kurt Waninger,
Here.
John Dart,
Here.
Joe Deppner.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The next order of business is approval of claims from the April 28th, 2025. Assuming that everyone's had the opportunity to review those, I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve the claims from April 28th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilor Waniger, seconded by Councilor McCarty. Seeing no other discussion, may we call the roll?
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Patrick Tam,
Yes.
Kurt Waninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
The next order of business is the approval of the minutes from April 14th, 2025. Assuming that everyone's had the opportunity to review those, I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 14th.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor McCarty, seconded by Councilor Waniger. Seeing no other discussion, may we call the roll?
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Patrick Tam,
Yes.
Kurt Waninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. We have any residents that wish to address the council this evening?
Yeah, we do. We actually have two cards. Jordan Cohen.
This is the first time for me. Do I get up and speak into the microphone?
Yeah, Mr. Cohen, so you have 3 minutes to address. It's not really a Q&A back and forth, but you have 3 minutes.
Perfect.
And we just need your name and your address just for the record.
Yeah, of course. Jordan Cohen. Address 624 Daniel Court. I'm over in Countryside. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I have some concerns about an upcoming new business ordinance 2526 located on 196th and East Street. Is a future topic for today's meeting. However, I've got to get home to a newborn, and I appreciate you bumping me up. So I have some concerns about that planned development. About a year or so ago, my wife and I purchased a piece of property, about a half acre, no HOA in the community of Morgan Woods. And I think we can all attest it's somewhat difficult to find a half-acre, no HOA in the city of Westfield. So we conducted thorough levels of research at the time that we had acquired the property. The zoning was different. So the zoning was at the time single-family agricultural, and that has since changed. And the planned development is a national tool headquarters, which is less than 200 yards away from my lot of where I live in Morgan Woods. I'm the only neighbor or homeowner in Morgan Woods that actually doesn't have a home. I have a blank sheet of land. A home actually burned down there. Our intent is to build our dream home. And so with that being said, I have some concerns. I have some concerns that that planned development is too close in proximity to residential. I looked at the plans. There's warehousing. There's a truck pull-up with future expansion. I have concerns about noise, traffic, congestion. I want to make sure that I personally go on record, and I think there are several other neighbors within the community that feel similarly to myself, and I think there's a meeting coming up at one of the schools to share some concerns and feedback as well, which I plan to be at. I want to make sure that I personally, as a homeowner and a landowner in that neighboring community, go on record in saying that I have concern. Whether it's the creation of a berm. I know there are plans for a berm and 6 and 8 foot trees. I've spoken with the legal firm representing the property development already last Friday. And there is a parcel of land that is not a part of the plan. That would actually be the parcel of land between my lot and the planned development. So I would like to request that nothing be done to that piece of land. I don't think anything is happening to that piece of land. If that becomes a nature preserve or a park or the building up of an area where it just remains the way it is, that would be my preference. And that's all I got for you all. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen, and thank you for being here this evening.
You bet. Thanks,
Really
guys.
appreciate it.
Second card, Greg Gorman. Gormang, apologize if I butchered that, I'm sure I did.
Well, obviously. Oh, nice. Well, obviously, Mayor Willis, City Council, residents of Westfield, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Greg Gormang. Greg Gormang, 5634 Foxglove Lane, Indianapolis, but I work in the area. So that's, again, my name is Greg Gormang. I'm a postal worker in Carmel. I'm helping run the National Association of Letter Carriers Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive, which is the second Saturday, May 10th of this year. It is the single-day largest food drive in America. Carriers from across the country solicit, receive, and help distribute food to local food pantries in the area. I represent Branch 888, which covers Hendricks County, Boone County, Hamilton County, and part of Madison County. Obviously, I want to thank the mayor, the council, and the residents of Westfield, because last year when I met with the mayor and I told him what we're doing, he literally picked up the gauntlet and said, Westfield's going to be great in helping you out on this food drive. And you guys beat Carmel last year for the first time in who knows when. But the reason this event is so important is that the people think of food donations as just Thanksgiving or Christmas. And actually, their stores are starting to wither up. And this food drive helps complete that circle so that when it comes again for Thanksgiving, they have the food. In fact, one of the food pantries I talked to said they have multiple bottles of ketchup is all they have. So that doesn't do very good for a family. So this year, residents will receive the card and bag, and we would ask residents to fill those bags and place them at or near your mailbox, and the carrier will pick those up from you. Obviously, as food prices have gone up and food insecurity is at an all-time high, we are also asking businesses if they would be able to help out. And carriers will be glad to provide our totes for you to be able to collect food at those businesses. There's more people listening than there are here. I know, but I just want to talk to businesses support the event. I've posted on social media. I have several things that can be posted out there. If you guys would be so ingenuine to do that as well. Also, apartment complexes can provide emails to the residents to let them know that they have those, because no offense, apartment people don't always pick up their mail in a timely fashion. But again, I want to thank everyone here that helped us out for last year. And what we're doing, I think, will make us even bigger for next year. And obviously, for everything that you've done, I want to give you the National Association of Letter Carriers cheer. So
Mr. President, it's been 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Mayor
you can
Willis,
finish.
the cheer is hip hip hooray. City Council, hip hip hooray. And for the residents of Westfield, hip hip hooray. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Greg, thank you for your time today presenting. For those in the audience and those that are listening online, I've been involved with Open Doors since 2002 and been working with letter carriers over the past number of years with these food drives. And this is the single largest food drive for Open Doors that is done yearly and carries us until about fall of all the food. About 30,000 pounds of food are brought in. And not only do it provide food to clients that come into Open Doors here in Westfield throughout the year, but we also share as a food bank to other food pantries in Hamilton County and in our Westfield area as well. So thanks for the letter carriers for what you guys do. And we've folded over 62,000 bags over the last year. So those grocery bags we fold, the Postal Letter Carriers Union gives us those cards, and we've stapled since April 8th all those cards to 62,000 bags. So don't throw them in the trash. Fill them up with food and hang them on your mailbox. Thanks.
Thank you. So this evening, too, we do have a special recognition this evening being presented by our police chief for K-9 officer pilot, as well as the sergeant. Chief?
Mr. President, members of the council, Mr. Mayor, I thank you for the opportunity to take just a few minutes for this special recognition. I know you got a busy agenda, but I think this is a worthy cause, so I'd like to just briefly speak. Tonight we're going to present to Sergeant Dewey Abney a plaque. That plaque's in recognition of his K-9 pilot who served the city from 2017 to 2025. He passed away recently due to a brief battle with cancer, but he did serve the city for 8 years. And in recognition of that, tonight we'd like to present Sergeant Abney with this plaque.
We're going to move on to old business this evening. Our first order of business is Resolution 25-113, which is the fiscal plan for Ordinance 25-19, which is the annexation of North Point 2, Phase 1. This evening, Ryan.
Yep, thank you, President, members of the council. Good evening. For the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. This introduction will also apply to the following line item on the agenda, in which will be the adoption consideration of the corresponding annexation ordinance, Ordinance 25-19. The item before you was a 100% voluntary annexation request, North Point 2, Phase 1 Plan Development Area. The total compiled annexation area is about 14.71 acres in size. The parcels are generally located on the north side of State Road 38 and can be seen in more detail within the provided location map exhibit on the screen. This item received a first reading and public hearing at the City Council's April 14th meeting. It is eligible for adoption consideration at tonight's meeting, where the item's resolution and fiscal plan have also been compiled. Thank you.
Do we have any questions this evening for Mr. Collingwood? This is a resolution this evening, so it's eligible for consideration along with the Ordinance 25-19. We need a motion and a second for Resolution 25-113.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 25-113.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Woniger, seconded by Councilor McCarty. Any further conversation? Seeing none, may we call the roll?
Patrick Tam,
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Next order of business is ordinance 2519 in coordination with resolution 25113, which is annexing certain real estate to the city of Westfield, Hamilton County, Indiana, North Point 2, Phase 1. This is the second reading, so it's up for adoption and consideration. We need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve ordinance 25-19.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilor McCarty, seconded by Councilor Waniger. Seeing no other discussion, may we call the roll?
Kurt Wanninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty.
Yes.
Patrick Tam.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Next order of business is Resolution 25116, which is a fiscal plan for ordinance 2521 Finley Creek, very similar to what we just heard. And we also have Mr. Collingwood here for this.
Yes, thank you, President, members of the council. Again, for the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. Similarly to the previous item, this introduction will also apply to the following light item on the agenda, in which will be the adoption consideration of the corresponding annexation ordinance, Ordinance 25-21. The item before you is a 100% voluntary annexation request for the recently zoned Finley Creek Plan Development Area. The total compiled annexation area is about 34.3 acres in size. The parcels are generally located on the north side of West 193rd Street and east of Fremont Moore Road, seen in more detail within the provided location map exhibit also on the screen. This item received a first reading and public hearing at the City Council's April 14th meeting. It is also eligible for adoption consideration at tonight's meeting, where the item's resolution and physical plans have also been compiled. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As Mr. Collingwood accurately stated, this is a resolution for 25116. We need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve resolution 25-116 for the fiscal plan for ordinance 25-21.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilor McCarty, motion made by Councilor Waniger, seconded by Councilor McCarty. Seeing no other discussion, may we call the roll?
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty.
Yes.
Patrick Tam.
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
The next ordinance in tandem here is ordinance 2521, which is annexing certain real estate to the city of Westfield, Hamilton County, Indiana, Finley Creek. We need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve resolution 25-120. Excuse me.
Second.
Ordinance 25-21.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor McCarty, seconded by Councilor Waniger. Seeing no other discussion, may we call the roll?
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron.
Yes.
Victor McCarty.
Yes.
Patrick Tam.
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger.
Yes.
John Dart.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. The next item of business is Resolution 25-120, which is Common Council of the City of Westfield, Indiana, making a preliminary determination to enter into a lease agreement. This evening, we have our Deputy Mayor, Danielle Carey-Tolan.
For the record, Danielle Carey-Tolan. Also on line is Zach Klutz from Taft. You'll have to have a second public hearing tonight and then adoption consideration for the lease agreement for Station 84.
Good evening, Council. Zach Klutz with the Taft Law Firm. I unexpectedly had to travel out of town today for a family matter, so I apologize for not being there in person, but I appreciate the accommodation and ability to participate virtually. Before you is Resolution 25120 and our need to conduct a second public hearing on this resolution, a preliminary determination to enter into a lease agreement with the Building Corp for purposes of financing the Fire Station 84 project. As you may recall, the preliminary determination arises not only from a lease, but also from the Building Corp's plan to issue bonds in an amount not to exceed $12,500,000 with an interest rate between or anticipated between 3% and 6%, but not to exceed 6%. Again, we have a resolution for adoption, but we also have the need to conduct a second and final public hearing. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Zach. Any questions this evening? We need to open up for our second public hearing this evening at 7:20 p.m. If anyone would like to come forward and speak. We're going to go ahead and close our second public hearing for Resolution 25-120 at 7:20 PM as well. Any further discussion this evening? This is eligible for adoption this evening. We need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 25-120 for preliminary determination to enter into a lease agreement for Fire Station 84.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilor Waniger, seconded by Councilor McCarty. Seeing no other conversation, may we call the roll?
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Patrick Tam,
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner.
Yes.
Motion. Oh, John.
I think that's a tech issue right now. John's on, but we're only showing one box.
We just need to switch back to you, John, so you know.
There he is.
I voted yes. Yep, we're good.
Yes, thank you.
I just like seeing John. I don't know about you all, but I do.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. We have ordinance 2523 approving economic development bonds for the Grand Millennium Center project. I believe we have Mr. Meeks here this evening from Barnes and Thornburg.
Good evening, President Tam and members of the City Council. Yeah, Dustin Meeks from Barnes and Thornburg. And I also have Janelle Fairman, who's the redevelopment director for the city, in the event that there's additional questions. So this ordinance approves a $25 million developer purchased financing for the Grand Millennium Project, which is a mixed-use development featuring multifamily housing, healthcare office, and retail spaces just south of the new library facility. Also this evening, I have David George with CRG Residential who can answer any questions about the project as well. What the resolution approves is that $25 million financing over a period of 25 years. And as I noted, that is a developer purchased bond. So what that means is that the city is pledging tax increment financing revenues to the payment of the bonds, but no other revenue source. And in the event that there weren't adequate tax increment revenue bonds or tax increment revenues to pay on the bonds, there is no additional obligation for the city. So you help get the project done with very little risk for the city in this structure. And the total investment for the project is going to be $110 million as well. So a big multiplier on the $25 million help from the city. So happy to answer any questions about the process that led to here or the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Meeks. Any questions this evening? Seeing none, we need a motion and a second this evening.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 25-23.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilor Herron, second by Councilor Waniger. Seeing no other discussion, may we call the roll?
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Patrick Tam,
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
John, I had to look up to see if you were there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ordinance 2524 is our next order of business, which is approving the lease and issuance of the Westfield Redevelopment Authority bonds and bond application notes, Series 2025, and appropriating the proceeds received from the sale of the leased premises, which is really a lot of words, but it's pretty simple. So, Mr. Meeks from Barnes and Thornburg.
Thank you, President Tam and councilors. Yeah, Dustin Meeks again from Barnes and Thornburg. President Tam has it right. It's actually a simple resolution. It does three things. The Redevelopment Commission and Redevelopment Authority of the city have gone through the process to approve an issuance of bonds by the Redevelopment Authority that are going to be backed by a lease between the Redevelopment Commission and the Redevelopment Authority. They have come to you for the final approval of that financing. So what this resolution does is it approves the financing, it approves the lease that those two parties have agreed to with each other, and then it approves a couple of blocking and tackling issues. The lease is going to be payable from the certified shares component of local income tax. So this pledges the certified shares. The expectation is that tax increment revenues will actually pay the bonds, but we have that local income tax backup to make sure that we get the best possible interest rate for the city. And then it additionally approves the sale of the leased premises, which are 9 roads in the city, to the Redevelopment Authority so that they can lease them to the Redevelopment Commission. Happy to answer any other questions you might have about the ordinance.
Any questions this evening for Mr. Meeks? Seeing none, this is eligible for adoption this evening. Need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 25-24 for the lease agreement in connection with certain land acquisitions and capital projects for Grand Park District.
Second.
We have a motion made by Counselor Woniger, second by Counselor McCarty. Seeing no other conversation, may we call the roll?
Patrick Tam,
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Mr. Meeks. Next order of business this evening is ordinance 2525, which is the Common Council of the City of Westfield, Indiana, establishing the Westfield Mayor's Youth Council, and presented this evening by our mayor.
Yeah, I don't plan to present anything unless you all have additional questions for me.
Now, we had a full presentation on this at our last council meeting. I do want to make sure that councilors all know that there's no additional new appropriation for this year. The mayor will be using existing budget dollars for the creation of this great project as well. It is an ordinance this evening. It's eligible for adoption. We need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve ordinance 2525, establish of the Mayor's Youth Council.
Thank you.
Second.
Need a, Counselor McCarty has made a motion. It's been seconded by Counselor Woniger. Maybe seeing no other conversation, may we call the roll?
Kurt Wanninger,
Yes.
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty.
Yes.
Patrick Tam.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Moving on to new business this evening, we have Resolution 25-123, which is the additional business to the Dora District. We have Kayla Arnold from our Communications Department.
For the record, Kayla Arnold, Director of Communications. You have a resolution in front of you to add an additional business to the downtown Westfield Dora. That business is Rivet Coffee Bar and Roastery, and they have a three-way license courtesy of our Riverfront District, so they are looking to be added into our Dora map. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Kayla. Any questions this evening? Pretty straightforward. We need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-123.
Second.
We have a motion made by Counselor Herron, seconded by Counselor McCarty. Seeing no other conversation, may we call the roll?
John Dart,
Yes.
Joe Deppner,
Yes.
Noah Herron,
Yes.
Victor McCarty.
Yes.
Patrick Tam,
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next order of business is just the introduction. It's ordinance 2526, which is 196th Street and East Street PUD. We have Mr. Crabtree here this evening from Community Plan.
Hey, good evening, Council. For the record, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening for first reading is the 196th and East PUD, which is proposed for approximately 11.5 acres at the southeast corner of 196th Street and East Streets. Property is zoned AGSF1, agriculture, single-family rural, while also being located in the employment corridor and business park land use conceptual plan areas of the current comprehensive plan. The PUD proposes an underlying zoning district of enclosed industrial, and it includes a conceptual site plan layout with both 10,000 square feet of office and 70,000 square feet of warehouse components, as well as room for additional future expansion. This item will have its public hearing at next week, May 5th Plan Commission meeting, and a neighbor meeting will also be held at May 1st at 6:30 p.m. at Cary Ridge Elementary. Matt Skelton of Churchill and Antrim is present this evening if the council has any initial questions about the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Dane. Do we have any questions for Mr. Crabtree or for Mr. Skelton?
I have a question. Maybe Mr. Crabtree. The parcel, could you go back to the last map? The parcel there to the left, it was my understanding that those were the same parcel split by the road. Is that right?
That is accurate today, yes. So,
but the PUD is not covering the whole parcel?
Correct.
Just a portion of the parcel?
Correct. So what you're seeing on the west side of East Street would remain AGSF1.
Okay, and so there's nothing before us changing the left part of that parcel?
Accurate.
Okay, that's all I have.
Any other questions this evening? Seeing
And
that-
this is
Go ahead.
John.
Yep.
This is the same parcel that resident Jordan Cohen had questioned earlier tonight. Is that true?
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay, so that development or his property is located where?
You're seeing the subdivision just to the west of the vacant parcel that Councilor Deppner was talking about earlier.
Okay, so, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, where the cursor is right now, I'm assuming is the parcel he was specifically speaking of, because I don't see a house on it.
It is.
Okay, so this ordinance is including not only the area that's in yellow, but the area where the cursor is at as well, that piece of property, is the entire piece?
No, this is proposing to, the PD is only, would be for the area outlined in yellow. The vacant area immediately east of that subdivision would not be a part of this.
So John, that area immediately adjacent, which is actually exactly what Mr. Cohen asked this evening, was to keep that parcel residential, if I'm paraphrasing correctly. I know he's left the meeting as he told us, but that would still be zoned as it is today, residential.
Correct. It would remain AGSF1 as it is today.
Okay, and just better define AGF.
AGSF1 is the lowest intensity land use in the UDO, so 3-acre estate lots, agricultural uses, farming, things like that.
Okay, so that's not changing with this ordinance.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dane, as well, for answering those questions. The next order of new business this evening is ordinance 2527, which is the Woods Robinson Briggs PUD Amendment 3. We have Mr. Rogers here this evening to give a brief introduction. Please note that this is an introduction only this evening. Go ahead.
Thank you, President, members of the council. For the record, Weston Rogers with the Community Development Department. The item presented before you this evening is a proposed amendment to the Woods Robinson Briggs Planned Unit Development District. The subject real estate in question is roughly 11 acres in size, and it's generally located northwest of the intersection at 191st Street and Winter Wheat Lane. So this 11-acre piece of real estate is currently located within Residential District 4 of the existing PUD. Residential District 4 permits 235 residential lots today. The proposed ordinance would permit an additional 35 single-family residential lots to be located within Residential District 4. In addition to the proposed ordinance would require the property to be developed in substantial conformance with the concept plan, along with integrating proposed on-site amenities and architectural standards. The public hearing for this item is scheduled to be held at the May 5th Advisory Plan Commission meeting. A workshop meeting is tentatively scheduled to be held June 16th. The petitioner is here this evening and plans on just making a brief presentation. Both the petitioner and staff are available to answer any questions, should the council have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Good evening. Jess McKinney with David Weekly Homes, Division President, for the record. Yeah, David Weekly Homes, we're excited to be here this evening to present this amendment to the Woods Robinson Briggs PUD, which will end up being just an extension of Harvest Trails, which is the community that's just east of here. Can we scroll through can we go back? Any farther back than that? No. I wanted to show the location map first. Okay, he's already done that. So go ahead, concept plan is fine. This is the residential portion, which makes up 11 acres of the Harvest Trail Cottage Collection. There are 83 homes here. There's an amenity, which I think may or may not be seen blown up. Below the pond, there we go. There's an amenity, a couple pickleball courts, a playground, a covered picnic, shelter, and then some fire pits. This product we build here in Hamilton County. There are large driveways here to promote, alley load parking. These are all alley load products. The pond that you saw in the past picture is the buffer between the residential and the 9 acres. Thank you. Just south of that, of course, is 191st Street, and there's 9 acres devoted to commercial. The pond being the buffer between the two. I think we saw the amenities. I don't know if you've got anything there. Just a little bit about our company, David Weekley Homes. We build here in Westfield in several locations. We enjoy our position here in Westfield, look forward to many communities in the future. David Weekley Homes is a privately owned home building company. We're based in Houston, Texas. The Indianapolis division has been here since 2011. In fact, May 1st, this Thursday, will be our 14-year anniversary here. So we built over 1,000 homes here in central Indiana. We do a lot of give back. Oh, here's a little bit of product that we would be building there in Harvest Trails Cottage Collection. These are some of the products that we build in Harvest Trails currently. You'd see this type of style. It's a little bit traditional, a little bit transitional. Colors, front porches, that type of an idea. Thank you. I suppose the last thing I would add is our customers, maybe a little differently than some home builders here locally. That's our model in Harvest Trails. A little differently, all of our customers go to the design studio and make selections, which promotes kind of a unique, our homes are a little bit more unique, both in the exterior and interiors of the homes. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Mr. McKinney or,
Yes, sir.
or Jess for you and I. The
Yes.
question I have for
President
you.
Tam.
Yeah, whatever. On the driveways on the back,
Yeah.
are they kind of, the depth is able to have a car?
They're 20 feet deep.
20 feet deep. You also have on some corners there, I think you have some street parking that's already called out for some, I think at the one cul-de-sac, you have some nose in, you also have some additional parking. It looks like
parking.
parallel parking already kind of bumped out on those plans.
We do, and then there's some golf cart parking in the very north, up by just north of the pickleball courts. So we've taken some golf cart thoughts into consideration here as well.
And then you already have some trails running throughout the entire property, it looks like, as well.
Yeah, those are kind of muse-type sidewalks in between the fronts of the buildings, and there's a trail that runs right through the middle. And then there's, of course, connectivity through all of Harvest Trails, which connects to the Monon Trail.
Okay. Just as a quick refresher for me, as well as the rest of my fellow counselors, what is the lot size permitted today versus what you are proposing here?
Weston, do you know that offhand? These are 28-foot lots. I can speak to that.
I think it's somewhere around from 36 down to 28. But
I think that may be the case. 36-foot wide lot is what we build currently in Harvest Trails. So this is technically a different product. Very similar in architecture, but smaller.
And this project's not this project, previous project was already approved. This is just adding more density, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Additionally, how many homes?
I think there would be 30 additional homes here.
Okay. Just a couple of items of note. The amenity area that's being proposed, it's nice transition between the two neighborhoods. Are there any other amenities for the residents of this area, or do they have access to any of the other maybe amenities in the Woods Robinson neighborhood?
They have access.
They do, okay.
So there's a large pond in Woods Robinson, and so they'd have access to that. That's why we actually chose the location for the amenity here, because it services both communities.
Okay. And Weston, this might be more of a question for you, or the pond, it's a shared pond to the south with them building a little portion of it for the residential development. When the commercial development comes in, how do we protect that buffer with that pond to ensure that that pond is built and a commercial development isn't built up right against it? You don't need to answer that now, but I would like to see that taken into consideration, that some type of commitment is made with the resident or the property to the south to ensure that that pond will be built and a residential doesn't, or commercial development doesn't come and they back their building right up against it with loading docks and dumpsters and things like that. So, and then I think, so I like the pond. That's a nice buffer between the two. On the west side where on the east side where the 20-foot alley is there, also kind of the same type of consideration. There's not much of a buffer against that commercial property there. And if there's any way, I don't know if maybe a fence is 8-foot high fence or some type of buffer is being proposed between those two to kind of create that buffer between them, plus all the trash and debris doesn't blow into those people's yards. The pond will catch the rest of the trash.
He's a former Public Works Director, doesn't die hard.
Very good. I'll go next. I just would say that I'm not a fan of increasing the density on this PUD. I mean, you came before us several years ago and we agreed to the residential and how it was going to be built. And to come back later on and the layout of it doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't, I wouldn't want to live there personally. I'm sure some people would, but there's not enough green space for me. It's just, they're too close together. I don't see any reason for us to add any more units to this Division 4 or whatever, Plot 4. It doesn't do it for me personally, so.
I would just say that I somewhat second Mr. Harrod's concerns. I was not on council, none of us were, when the original development was put into place. The way 191st Street is being developed, mostly commercial in the way that I want or see it being developed, I would have not approved the entire residential development to begin with. So to come back and ask for more density, that's the part. I mean, you already have something approved, but I just don't think I can support more density here residentially.
Any other conversations, comments this evening? So this will next go to the APC meeting, which would be anticipated to be scheduled for May 5th, 2025, and then we'll see what the APC process does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance 2528 is our next item of business this evening, which is the Osborne Trails PUD amendment. We have Mr. Rogers as well this evening.
Yep, thank you, President, members of the council. For the record, Weston Rogers with the Community Development Department. The item being presented before you this evening is an amendment to the Osborne Trails Planned Unit Development District. The subject real estate is roughly 25 acres in size and is generally located northeast of the intersection at 191st Street and Horton Road. This is the property adjacent to West Fork Whiskey, just on the northeast there. So this proposed amendment would permit up to 104 townhome dwellings. It would also require the property to be developed in substantial conformance with the proposed concept plan. In addition, it would require specific architectural, landscape, open space, and amenity standards for the development of the property, which also includes a commercial recreational facility fronting 191st Street. A public hearing for this item is scheduled for the May 5th Plan Commission meeting. A workshop meeting is scheduled for the June 16th Plan Commission meeting. The petitioner is here this evening and plans to provide a brief presentation on the matter. But the petitioner and staff are available for questions should the council have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Weston.
Good evening. For the record, Russell Brown, an attorney with the law firm of Clark Quinn, business address 320 North Meridian Street, Suite 1100 in Indianapolis. With me tonight is also Peter Murphy, the proposed proprietor of the new commercial recreational facility, tentatively called GPS.Fun, the vision of which I'll briefly talk about in just a moment, and Jess McKinney, who's also part of this project, but volunteered me to make the presentation for this project. Who is a proposed builder for not more than 104 two-story townhomes proposed on the northern portion of this parcel. David McIntyre with West Fork Whiskey could not be here in person. He and his wife welcomed a new baby boy to their family last week, and so indicated he would be listening in tonight but could not be in here in person. This ordinance, as introduced, is a reimagining of a project considered by this council last August. The proposal adds 2 uses to the areas adjacent to the West Fork Distillery and paves the way for the development of West Fork's Rack House and Stage, which have long been a planned part of the distillery development. Proposal seeks to strike a balance of establishing a new residential townhome community to serve as the buffer between those more intense uses located along 191st Street and that residential neighborhood that exists to the north, while adding what we believe is a second destination or regional attraction near that corner of 191st and Horton. David Weekley does plan to build 2-story townhomes on the subject parcel. The floor plans and elevations are new to the Indianapolis market and will have in the range of between 1,700 and 1,900 square feet with a 2-car attached garage. David Weekley anticipates the purchase price of the townhomes to be in the mid $300,000 to $400,000 range. The conceptual site plan shows the path connectivity throughout the entire subject parcel, intended to provide connectivity between existing uses and those uses proposed under the PUD. The ordinance contemplates community usable amenities representing the cohesive development strategy of combining these 2 new uses with the existing distillery use. The second proposed use for the southern portion of the property is an indoor-outdoor commercial recreational facility, which will be operated by Mr. Murphy's company. The working name, as I mentioned, is GPS.Fun. The facility would have a variety of indoor and outdoor activities, including items like laser tag, axe throwing, escape rooms, electronic darts, arcade offerings, plus a full kitchen and bar, as well as outdoor miniature golf, anticipated to be 36 holes, and the Sky Trail, which is described by the manufacturer as an aerial outdoor adventure course. Upon completion, this use would add about 70,000 square feet of activity space for Westfield residents, visitors, and guests. The development team believes that this proposed use will provide another unique attraction in Westfield to give visitors and guests a reason to stay longer on their initial visit or to make a return visit to the community. The development team has received initial feedback from the community development staff on this version of our ordinance and exhibits, and we'll work to incorporate those changes along with any additional feedback from you and the Plan Commission after the public hearing next week to return a final version of this ordinance and exhibits that we hope will be ready for your approval and project execution. And Jess, Peter, and I are happy to answer questions or look forward to working with you through this process.
Any questions this evening for Mr. Brown?
Yeah, just real quick, more of a statement, just full disclosure, since the last proposal was denied last year, was in constant contact with the West Fork team to just try to see how we could make development here at this corner palatable. Taking prior comments from council, APC, so on and so forth, if this were to come back as it is tonight, let's try to make it the best foot forward that we could make it. So I'm very thankful to have this back here tonight, especially with the entertainment option that throughout the 5-month process last year, I kept on saying that we need some sort of entertainment here. And I think that's just wonderful, and thank you for partnering with them.
I'll echo those sentiments. David Weekley has been, a steward in this, moving this project forward and working with the council members and have taken a lot of our input and opinions associated with this. So we appreciate his persistence with this project. Look forward to the amenity and how it will support Grand Park as well as our community, and the residential component associated with this will, provide opportunity for West Fork Whiskey and other businesses in the areas as well. So I look forward for this project to go through APC and come back to us soon.
Yeah,
Hey, Patrick.
Go ahead, Councilor Dart. You're fine.
Yes, this is for David Weekley. You mentioned that this is a new product. Is this a new product in Indiana for Weekley? When we talk about the townhomes, and if I heard that correctly, what's different?
Jess McKinney, David Weekley for the record. This building style that we're looking at is new to David Weekley Homes. We've built townhomes in Hamilton County before, not in Westfield. So this is not brand new product for us, but the idea here would be that we've got a rear load townhome throughout, which we've built before, but architecturally this is a little bit different. And this picture doesn't really do us justice. The actual plans that we're thinking about will really mirror what you see at the distillery today and some of the pictures that Mr. Murphy is planning with, you can see on this diagram, the areas where there are some, bless you, there are some posts and whatnot, those will all be cedar in color to match kind of the architecture of what's going on in the area. And then the buildings will be a version of basically dark and white, a combination there. So very modern. They're really, the new renderings we have put together, which didn't make this presentation, are really very sharp. So not completely new to us, but a new townhome elevation and someone that we're pretty excited about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So will those illustrations get added to the PUD then? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, our goal was to have one revision and not 5.
Gotcha.
So we're going to have one.
They didn't want to pay you, or what was it?
Sorry?
They didn't want to pay you, Russell?
I was trying to take constructive criticism from our last iteration and get one revision to you.
Expectation-wise, will those be ready before APC or for APC?
I have revised renderings. I didn't want to add them in at the last minute.
Thank you, appreciate that.
You were looking at me when you said that, too.
I was not, Mayor. I was not looking at you. I was looking at Caitlin.
Just to piggyback off of my fellow counselor comments, in addition to the townhomes, I would just add to try to make the entertainment facility a little bit more nuanced as well, to have further definition with that.
Yeah, we tried to mirror the requirements from the West Fork in our architectural requirements. That is one of the comments that came back from staff, and try to get further definition as we move through the process.
Thank you.
I would just say we've making some great strides since the last time you were before us for the last vote. It does appear you've taken into consideration a lot of the things that we said. We've reduced the density of residential. We've increased the commercial. We've got some potential users. A lot of things are looking good on this project so far.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, it's considered right now as we speak that it will be one owner, if you will, for that entire commercial aspect as well. And frankly, it's highly complementary to what goes on throughout Grand Park and the families that come visit, close to 6 million. So it's frankly really remarkable to have that type of commercial already kind of preloaded, which we're pretty excited about. Seeing no other conversations, we look forward to that going through the APC process, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item of business, ordinance 2529, which is the Common Council of the City of Westfield, Indiana, approving a lease agreement and the issuance of bonds related to the Fire Station 84 project and related matters. We have Mr. Zach Klutz from Taft Law joining us remotely. Zach?
Good evening, Council. Zach Klutz with the Taft Law Firm. We are now at the second step of this financing. This may seem very similar to what we did earlier, but the earlier resolution was a resolution that complies with Indiana's property tax statute, as this is a controlled project. We are now ready to approve or consider an ordinance that would approve the lease agreement by the city with the building corp, as well as approve the building corp's issuance of bonds, which the fiscal body of the city must do by statute. By way of just update, earlier this evening, the building corp did approve execution of the lease agreement, as well as a resolution authorizing their issuance of bonds, and they're on standby to determine the outcome of this meeting. We have a few things to do with this ordinance. The first is to conduct a public hearing on the underlying lease agreement, which notice was published. Following the public hearing, we have a taxpayer petition that has been certified by the county auditor and signed by 50 taxpayers of the city, asking the council to move forward with this ordinance, and then the underlying ordinance itself I can discuss. But I guess I'll pause now to see if you'd like to conduct the public hearing, and then I can move forward from there.
Great, thank you, Zach. We'll conduct a public hearing this evening at 7:54 p.m. Anyone that would like to come forward, please do so. Seeing no one, we will close our public hearing at 7:55. Zach, we need to do the second piece. I've seen the taxpayer petition, but how do you want to address that this
I
evening?
just want to make sure it's submitted and of the record of the city. We got the certification in two parts, one last week and the other one from the auditor, I think earlier this morning. So I just want to make sure that's submitted to council and is of the record, and it's on the record that the county auditor has certified 50 taxpayers have signed the petition seeking the council move forward with this lease agreement and financing.
Thank you, Zach. Our city attorney's given that to our clerk treasurer, so we're fine there as well.
The last thing I would like just to have the council consider is this project is moving forward a little quicker than we had originally anticipated. And while this is currently scheduled for introduction this evening and adoption at your next meeting per the standard process, Indiana code does permit an ordinance to be adopted at the meeting in which it's introduced if unanimous consent of the council members are agreeable to voting on it at one meeting, and if so, by unanimous consent, if the ordinance is then adopted by at least 2/3. It's certainly not required, or, this project, it's just the timeline would really help if we could get to market and close on these bonds and get the funding to the city. So I would just ask for that consideration, and if so, if there's a willingness to move forward, I can walk through kind of 2 or 3 of the sections and give a summary of this ordinance. Otherwise, I can give a more fulsome at the next meeting when it's up for adoption.
Thank you, Zach. Any discussion on the request from Zach this evening about the potential suspension of the rules? Were we okay with that or not?
I'm okay with it.
We need a motion and a second. This needs to be approved unanimously to suspend the rules. We need a motion and a second first.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 25-29.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules made by Councilor Waniger, seconded by Councilor McCarty. Any other discussion this evening? May we call the roll for the suspension of the rules?
Victor McCarty?
Yes.
Patrick Tam?
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger?
Yes.
John Dart?
Yes.
Joe Deppner?
Yes.
Noah Herron?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
So Zach, we've suspended the rules. Did you want to explain a couple other matters?
Yeah.
Thank you.
First, I'd say thank you. This will be helpful from the administration's perspective on getting into the market to sell these bonds a couple weeks quicker. So we appreciate that. Before you is ordinance 2529. This ordinance, one, formally accepts the taxpayer petition that was certified by the auditor. This ordinance also authorizes the city via the signature of the mayor to enter into the lease agreement with the building corp. This ordinance also pledges a property tax levy for the purpose of paying semi-annual lease rentals in an annual aggregate amount not to exceed $1,288,000. This ordinance, also approves the building corp's issuance of bonds in an amount not to exceed $12,500,000. And finally, this ordinance authorizes the city to execute certain bond offering documents and certificates at the closing. I'm happy to answer any questions. This would be the final step of approvals for this financing, and we would be going into the market in mid-May. There's a 30-day period that we need to hold before a 30-day period after the lease is signed before we can kind of officially go into the market. So it would be, I guess, I should say late May that we would go into the market to sell the bonds.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion this evening? Now, we've suspended the rules. Now it's eligible for a vote this evening. Ordinance 2529, which is the Common Council of the City of Westfield, Indiana, approving a lease agreement and the issuance of bonds. We need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve ordinance number 25-29.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilor McCarty, motion made by Councilor Waniger, seconded by Councilor McCarty. Any other discussion this evening? Seeing none, may we call the roll?
Noah Herron?
Yes.
Victor McCarty?
Yes.
Patrick Tam?
Yes.
Kurt Wanninger?
Yes.
John Dart?
Yes.
Joe Deppner?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
That concludes our new business. City Council comments this evening. Councilor McCarty, APC update?
Yeah, all we had at our APC workshop meeting last week was a workshop regarding the comprehensive plan. That was it. Thank you.
Right, any other council comments this evening?
Yeah, I got one. Oscar thought he was getting out of here quickly. Or Scott, or Mayor Willis. The SB 1 went through and is now law. I was wondering like where we are or where things stand on like researching it, understanding it, like how that might affect us down the road. Like when can we expect to kind of hear financially where we might be on this, on that?
Yeah, no, so my staff's been digesting that ad nauseum. Quite frankly, we had to reach out and get legal interpretation. I think the haphazard way that thing was approved, there was some language that nobody could answer our questions around legality of certain things. So we've gotten that clarified. I have a briefing with my staff on Thursday to digest it as a team. And then once I've done that, we're going to, I'm not sure what the best form is, but we want to roll this out to you all as well. It'll probably be part of the budget cycle because we're nearing the budget cycle here real fast. So we'll probably roll it in at like last year when we did our meetings, unless you guys want a different format and you guys control how you digest that. Our plan is to kind of roll it out as part of the big picture of what the budget's going to look like. We do expect some cuts. There are definitely cuts coming, and there's a lot of narrative out there around, you know, there was no cut, the taxpayer gets no benefit, and the city's actually making more money. That's completely false. I'm just not sure how deep those cuts are yet. My team knows, I don't, but I'll know. A lot of people are going to get fired if I don't know on Thursday because I'm not a very patient guy and I've been in the dark for a while. So it's coming.
Any other comments from the council this evening? Mayor?
Just a couple of things for me. First off, I have a town hall meeting coming up next week. Please don't protest me or get angry with me. It's been some crazy town halls going on in our community over the last few weeks. But in all seriousness, please come, have your voice heard. We got a lot of things to talk about. We have a lot of things going on. And then we are working, as I've told the council before, I think it's just good to put it in the public sphere. We've been working on a vision for phase 2, 3, and 4 of our downtown revitalization plan. We are really, really close to roll that out. Step 1 to be rolling out to the council and allowing you guys to digest and weigh in as well. And then once we've hammered out the final details, we're going to do a model, a 3D tabletop model, and we're going to have open sessions with the public to come in and touch and feel this new vision and have a chance for you all to weigh in as well. And then provide that goes well, we'll have a last component of taking it to the development community and setting the expectation and clarity around what we will and won't accept in our downtown area moving forward. So I'm really excited about the work's put into it. It's not what you're seeing in every other community. There are components that might look familiar, but this is a very different concept and some pieces that we're trying to do in our downtown. I think it'll be popular with our residents. And with that, I will pass it back to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
For the record, second.